Dopamine. Dopamine. Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it. Dopamine.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing things slightly differently for Division 1 this evening. Welcome back to DTR. I am D Summers 90. This is Division 1, the season finale, race 12 at Abu Dhabi for Division 1 tonight. We are changing things up a little bit because we are going to be serving a 1 minute of silence in remembrance of one of the drivers that we lost around this time last year. A lot of you who will be watching will know him as Hammers UK. Others knew him as Lewis, and we lost him suddenly early last year. So we are going to be commemorating him with a minute's silence at the beginning of qualifying. If a driver leaves the pits in that 1 minute before it says 17 minutes left, they will be getting a disqualification. Hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully everyone has read the notifications, but that is the stipulation. I do have a message from the likes of Nellboy, Barry Bogorovsky, and others who knew him. The message reads as, "We miss you, we love you, rest in peace." So, while we are waiting for the drivers to get into the lobby and ready up, we will bring up the drivers and constructors standings this time around, because the drivers is basically all wrapped up. Grelis has won it already. It is now a race for P2 for Benny and Miyagi. There is 17 points between them. So Benny, I believe he said he needs to finish 5th or higher this evening to secure P2. But the constructors is still open. There is a total of, I believe it is 43 or 42 points. So that is first, second, and fastest lap. So, McLaren could steal this away from Red Bull if Red Bull do not outscore the McLarens this evening. So it should be interesting to see who will win the constructors out of those two, much like in real life, except for it was the other way round. McLaren were ahead and Red Bull were closing the gap, or trying to. But yeah, we shall be going in just a minute's time. Once we load in, I will have to shut the hell up because I will also be respecting Lewis in the 1 minute silence. And then we will get back to our normal monotone commentary that I put on. So I do apologise for the change of format, but it's worthwhile. While we are waiting for the drivers to ready up and go, on February 10th, we will also be doing a Hammers Memorial race around Japan, 8 p.m. GMT, February 10th. The drivers have been asked to either dress their cars up as McLarens, because Hammer was a McLaren fan, or in the West Ham kits, because as by his Hammers UK name, he was a West Ham fan. So you will see either a lot of orange, black and chrome, or a lot of burgundy, maroon and light blue cars. And it will be streamed. Nellboy has said he will do commentary for that race. So look forward to that. It'll be an between seasons kind of race, I believe. So it'll be a pre-season, but as a memorial to Hammers UK. So the drivers are now readying up, so we should be getting ready to go very, very shortly. And yay, the voice chat is suspended. Oh, I love how EA tell us that when we're as you can see, I've muted everyone, so I can't hear anything anyone says if they've forgotten to turn off their mics. So we will load in. The drivers will pick their tyre selection or their tyre allocation even for the race weekend. And then we will be serving the 1 minute silence. If there is anyone watching live, please do follow along in silence as well, just as a show of respect to the friend that we have lost this time last year. Okay, thank you very much for supporting that 1 minute silence, ladies and gentlemen, for Lewis. Hammers UK, I believe it was 88, was his full gamer tag, but we all just knew him as Hammers. So thank you all for joining us in that 1 minute of silence. Now I hear the engines firing up now. Looks like the McLarens will be the first ones out on track. It is Barry Bogarowski who is going to be the first one to make it to the end of the pit lane. And I believe that is... It is. Benny is sporting a West Ham themed helmet to pay his respects to Hammers this evening. Nice little bit of formation driving from the McLarens. We can say that that is a memorial outlap for the pair. So here we go. Starting the hot laps is Benny. It looks like he will be giving Bogarowski a bit of a tow down the straights, unless he pulls away through the corners, which is more often than not going to happen because Benny is extremely quick. around these tracks. The toe could have been there, but it looks like Bogorovsky was not quite lined up in the slipstream properly for that run. Benny taking it very cleanly through probably the hardest corners on this track. That hard braking after the first long straight, left and then right chicane onto the second DRS straight. Looks like he's very composed, very settled in the car. Looks like he is ready to absolutely destroy his competition. And there is a car in his way. Boy, almost got in his way at least. So that is pole for Benny as it stands at 23.418. Bogorovsky behind him with a 24.077. Who is next across the line? It is Stewart. And then we have, I believe, Pipke, yes. I'm a little bit caught with me trousers around me ankles, trying to keep up with who's crossing the line now. Tom Putty is now coming across the line. Puts himself up into P6. Havoc Connor comes across the line, 24.6. We have an Aston Martin of Master Ranger coming round the final corner now. And that is a 23.5. And just think, these are banker laps for these drivers. They're not even pushing all that hard at the moment. NLD Rush evidently was not pushing at all. We've got Skipper, who will be the next driver to set a time. I do like that sequence of corners, the long looping left-hander into a sequence of 3 right-handers, slightly getting tighter and tighter, then the 2 off-camber left-handers. Now through the final 2 corners, where is Skipper going to put himself on the board? He goes above his teammate with a 25.494. Now we will go on with the one of the 2 P2 protagonists, who is actually ahead of Nellboy right now on track. One of the few times Nellboy has raced this season, especially after his knee injury as of late. He's only now getting back into the racing, trying not to hurt himself. Oh, D-Rush went for a second lap after that 136 and has put in a 123.8. So Mirror is going to be the next man to set a timed lap, except for Skipper, who has gone again, but is 4.7 seconds down. So we'll stick on with Mirror in the Alpine. So what you will notice in 2026, the Alpine has the exact same livery as it used to. It's basically this livery, just on a different shape. That's all it is. That's all that's different. Miyagi seems to have retired in the pits. Well, actually, no, he was out. So where the hell did he crash? Did he crash coming into the pits? Or did he spin it in the final corner? Either way, that is not good news for the P2 protagonist. He wanted to fight for that P2 position in the championship this evening, but he's going to have to do it from the back now. as Mira goes fastest with a 1:23.3. Is this a sign of early upset for the drivers out in front, as we have got Grelis coming around now as well? Of course, he has already won the drivers. Nellboy retires in the pit lane. So Grelis has already won his drivers' championship. He is now racing for the constructors, and that is a 1:22.9, the first man in the 1:22s this evening. Are we going to see an absolute shocker of a 1:21 this evening in qualifying? We will have to wait and see. Let us have a look. We now have a fast-moving Cavolis in the Williams. I do still love this livery. This is the sort of livery that Williams need to run more often, instead of just their plain blue. Either that or go back to when they were winning championships and actually have the yellow, blue and white paint schemes again. But of course, the contract with Atlassian will not let them really do too much with that. The closest we came was when Colapinto was racing for them, and we had the yellow of Banque de Libre on the car as well. Cavolis goes P2 with a 23.1. Still Grelis, the only driver to currently have a 1:22 time on the board. So Benny Buno has now just started his lap. Let's see, who is this William? That is Stewart coming round now. We have Tom Putty and Bogorovsky following each other. Tom Putty is going into the pits. Where is Bogorovsky going to put himself? Was he held up by the Mercedes? Not really, a 23.710. A decent improvement from his previous lap. Havoc Connor, 23.504. Good lap from the Red Bull man. It's got me a little bit worried about tomorrow. So we've got Cavolis. We have got Pipke coming around now. Has he recently finished a lap? Yes, it looks like it. So we will go on with Benny Buno, who is coming round to finish his lap. It's his first banker lap. Let's see where he can put himself in that Mercedes. And he goes up to P11 with a 23.775. Not a bad lap. We know that he can do better, though. As Mars Ranger has now started a lap. Stewart puts himself on P2, 200ths ahead of his teammate with a 23.143. Good lap from the Williams driver there. He will be pretty pleased with that. That's D-Rush coming around now to finish a lap. We've got Benny coming round to finish a lap as well. Is he going to be able to pip Grelis to the line? He does, a 22.859. Brilliant lap from Benny there. Wonderful to see. Let us see. What else have we got going on here? Everyone coming into the pits at this point. Let's see. Who should we go on board with? D-Rush seems to be pushing quite hard on his lap. Benny Buno has completed his lap. We have got Mars Ranger, who is now pushing. He is going to try and get himself up into at least the top 3, unless he's coming into the pits. There we go. Cavolis coming into the pits. Stewart coming into the pits. Oh my word, I'm glad I caught that. We've got D-Rush really pushing but struggling on those tyres. Let's see that again and watch him coming around that corner as I caught it. As you can see, I flicked through the cameras and caught him going sideways on the two off-camber corners there. Who did I see disappearing then? Did someone lag out of the session? Andre has invalidated his attempt. He is the only man currently out on track apart from Mirror. But he comes back into the pits. We'll stick on with Mirror as he is going to be the next man to set a timed lap. Now he has come out around the same time as I would have come out. Purely for the fact, if you don't really go out now, you have only got the one opportunity. If you mess up early in the lap, Mirror will be able to stick his battery back into none, recharge the battery, and get around in time to cross the line and set a fast lap. The other drivers might not be so lucky at this stage. So what we can do is we will go on board with Mirror and watch him on his fast lap. See if he can clinch pole from Benny on this lap. Full throttle out of the final corner, crosses the start-finish line, heavy braking into turn one, cuts the corner nicely, uses a fair amount of the curb on the outside, but could have used more. Lets it roll out wide, doesn't oversteer the car through turn 3. Heavy braking into, I believe this is actually turn 5. Opens the DRS. Let's see if I can see what speed he's getting up to. That is 204 miles an hour. Heavy braking into the left-hander of the chicane. Right hand uphill off camber. Nightmare corner. Opens the DRS. Blasts his way. Keeps it nice and tight to the inside. And slowly comes across. Long looping left-hander now. That's a personal best middle sector at least. Now this is the fun part. Heavy braking into the right hand and now two off camber left-handers. Medium speed, puts his foot down through the final right-handers. And across the line, only 800ths faster. I do apologise for the coughing. Oh my word. He did go faster, but not as fast as he would have wanted. So, who is the first one out there that is... We've got Pipkey. Okay, we've actually got Tom Putty, I believe, will be the next... Oh, no. It is... Stewart will be the next driver to set a timed lap. That is the end of qualifying now, so this is the last opportunity the drivers will have. Stewart comes across the line. He does improve by 2 tenths, a 22.940. Good job from Stewart there. Tom Putty comes across the line, does improve by 4.5 tenths. Janice also comes across and improves by 3.5 tenths. We now have the Haas drivers of Skipper. Improves, or doesn't improve even. I believe that was Andre came across the line and improved a large chunk. We now have Grelis coming round the final corner. Puts it on pole, 22.840. Is Benny going to be able to respond to that? He does a 22.790 from Benny. That is an amazing lap. Jeez. Oh, and D-Rush has left the session, so I will quickly get him an invite. It would be nice if people showed up online. It looks like he doesn't even have me added right now. Well, okay, we'll rely on other people to get him in, hopefully. Hopefully, someone can send him an invite. Maybe Delboy or Miyagi if they are listening. But, there we have it, folks. That is the end of qualifying. Benny with the big thumbs up. So, your lineup will be M. Benny, Grelis, Stewart, Kavolis, Mars Ranger, Mirror, Bogorovsky, Andre, Havoc Connor, Pipke, Giannis, Benny Buno, D-Rush, Tom Putty, Skipper, Miyagi, Moncho, and Nelboy. The last three there not setting a time in qualifying. Now, I'm not sure if that was fully intentional or not, but we are going to have to try and get an invite for NLD Rush if we can. I have way too many people on my friends list. Now, this track is extremely tough on tyres. A one-stop is possible, but you will be hearing your tyres scream from towards the end of the race, or the end of the stint even, not even the whole race. There will likely be a lot of drivers doing a two-stop if they wear out their tyres. More than likely a medium, medium-hard, or a medium-hard, medium. A medium-hard is potentially able to be done, but only as long as you look after your tyres. Oh, no, don't want telemetry. There we go. But we will have a look and see what people are starting on. So, the majority of the grid starting on those medium tyres. Tom Putty and Grelis both running on hard tyres this evening to start. I wonder, are they going to be seeing how far they can take the hard tyres and run the mediums on the lighter fuel load? We will have to wait and see. Is D-Rush back in? It looks like he is, even though I didn't see it pop up, but I will just have a quick look at messages. Nothing being said to me. Oh, D-Rush is currently typing, so please bear with me. Okay, so he can't get control, but he is there. Okay, so let's get back to what we were doing. So currently D-Rush is looking at his car. It won't let him take control of it just yet. Hopefully it will give him control of the car on the start, as Benny has missed his grid box. So we will go on board with Stuart. We will hide the timing tower for now. So we've got 1 red light, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go. That held the drivers for a long time there. Let's have a look at what is happening here. Stuart's already on the attack of Benny, as Benny is going around the outside. There were drivers going around. Yep, we had D-Rush and Giannis had a bit of a kerfuffle by the look of it. Benny has been overtaken by the Williams of Stuart while we were not looking. I do apologise, Stuart. Things seem to be settling down now. I say that, and Mira makes an overtake on Bogorovsky. We will have a quick look at position changes as the Mercedes of Benny Buno tried diving down the inside there and lost a couple of positions because of it. So we will have a look at that again in a little while. Has D-Rush got control of his car? It looks like he may do. Grelis is out in front, as always. We kind of expect it around here nowadays. Stuart then being followed by Benny, who is followed by Kavolis. Grelis with the first lap, fastest lap, 29.7. Now is when we will see if these are actually the fastest laps. Okay, D-Rush has come into the pits. I wonder, is it a... Yep, it's a change of wing for damage. Okay. So he is having to think about what's happened. Stuart gets himself past Grelis on the DRS straight. But this does give the advantage to Grelis now. He will now have the DRS for this straight here. I've only just noticed, but Grelis is also donning a West Ham coloured helmet for Lewis this evening as well. Oh, Benny Buno has gone round and into a wall. That's not good for him. He's lost a lot of positions due to that. Let's see what is going on up ahead here. So the closest battle right now is probably Miyagi. On the back of Andre here. There we go, Miyagi, fastest lap, a 1:27. Benny Buno comes into the pits to replace his front wing and his burnt out tyres. Oh, Miyagi almost went into the back of Andre there. Had to make a large avoiding action just so he didn't break his own wing or spin Andre into that corner there, which is unfortunate. I think he would have got a better drive out of that corner. Skipper gets himself past Moncho. Through the chicane they go. What is happening up in front? Benny is sniffing the back of that Williams. Tom Putty and Skipper are trading positions around the loop. So we have a rather long front train that has formed now. First place down to 10th. The front 10 drivers all within a second of each other. That is then a gap back to Havoc Connor of 1.5 seconds. He has had to fight for it. Hello, Hugo Brabin. Welcome in. So Connor has lost touch of the train ahead of him, but luckily for him, the driver behind is also losing touch of him. It's not where Connor needs to be for Red Bull to win this Constructors' title. Miyagi making moves on both of the Saubers this time around, getting past Andre and Pipke. Oh, and he tags the back of Bogorovsky there in the McLaren. Miyagi seems to be the only one making any form of move going into the train here. Of course, with that slight tag of Bogorovsky, Bogorovsky has now also lost the DRS to the cars ahead. So there are now gaps starting to form due to incidents or just lack of pace in some cases. Where is Miyagi going to make this move? Miyagi needs to get ahead of Benny, preferably. Oh my word, he goes around the outside of Bogorovsky. I was not expecting that round turn one. What a move. This man has now got a pink rocket. He is absolutely flying around this track, and he wants to make up for the loss of time with his qualifying not going the way he wanted. Having to start at the back because I believe he crashed into the pit lane. Moncho gets himself past Havoc Connor. This is not what the Red Bull team need. They need all the points they can get to stay ahead of the McLarens in this Constructors' title. Meanwhile, Miyagi has now got 1.8 seconds to make up on Mirror ahead of him. Meanwhile, Grelis is just quite happily going along, trying to pull a bit of a gap to the Williams behind him. This is when his hard tyres will be coming into a good window where he can finally put the... I apologise for the flubs. He can finally put the power down and trust that he is not going to spin. Bogorovsky comes into the pits. He has had enough of these medium tyres. He is going onto a set of the hard tyres now. So I have a feeling that Bogorovsky is going to be doing a long two-stop. Likely see him back in around lap 23 to do another 6 laps on the medium tyres if he is doing a two-stop. It seems Benny is not best pleased with his setup at the moment. He really should be the one right behind Grelis, but then again, it's better to know where Stewart is by seeing him ahead of you than having him behind you and not knowing if he's going to ram you. Oh, there goes the bollard, courtesy of the Red Bull of Havoc Connor. Nellboy is now up to 13th. Of course, he does have a bit of a dicky knee, so he's having to take it easy when braking into the corners. But more power to him. If I had an injured knee, I would not be driving on a rig. I would not be risking my health. Oh my word. Andre and Tom Putty coming together again. I believe they came together earlier this season as well. Cavolis is now starting to wane. He is dropping out of the DRS. He does not have DRS this time around. Let's have a look at that contact between the Mercedes and the Kick Sauber. It just seems Tom was not expecting Andre to be on the inside of turn 1 and just close the door without meaning to cause any issues. And Andre has now got himself past the Mercedes of Tom Putty around the outside of the loop as well. A difficult place to actually get the power down. Even though the corner is slightly cambered, you will understeer out if you hold the throttle. Grellis has now started making real inroads to make this gap happen between himself and Stewart. He really does not want to have that Williams right behind him. Havoc Connor now comes into the pits. It seems he has burnt through his tyres. Either that or he has damage to his wing. No, it is just for tyres, so he is changing over to a set of mediums. So he is happy enough to be going 2-stop on this race. Masked Ranger is closing in on the back of Benny here. This could spell danger for the cars ahead, because Masked Ranger, as we saw earlier in the season, is a little bit of a dark horse when it comes to racing. There are certain tracks where he really excels. And especially if it rains, he can exploit the situation. Now let's have a look. There are quite big gaps towards the back. We have this train down to 7th now at the front, from 2nd down to 7th. We then have Moncho in the Alpine 4.5 seconds behind. Okay, so Miyagi is promoted up to P3 as Benny, Masked Ranger, Cavolis and Mirror all come into the pits. Moncho carries on as his teammate is in the pit lane. So these drivers are going for the 2-stop, it would seem. No one willing to risk the 1-stop, apart from maybe Grellis. Depending on how his tyres are holding up at this point, he may well be going for the 1-stop, but going for the overcut 1-stop. So he will be looking to be coming in around lap 18, thereabouts, if he is going for the 1-stop. And I believe Stewart might also be going for the 1-stop. If he doesn't come in this lap, he will be keeping the longevity of these medium tyres until they are almost fit to burst, and then putting on a fresh set of hard tyres. Let us see what he decides to do. Stewart also donning the West Ham helmet. Oh, and he's missed the pit entry. Oh, Stewart. And Miyagi passes him. That was Not great from Stewart there. Just oversped into the pit lane. Miyagi was able to get ahead of him in the pit lane. Havoc Connor, the first driver to get a 3-second time penalty this evening. And I will say, well done. It's taken until lap 10 for someone to get a time penalty. With all the people diving into the pits, I'm surprised no one actually got a speeding in the pits penalty. So well done to everyone on that. So we will have a look and a bit of a laugh at Stewart as he's coming round the final 2 corners to come into the pits and completely misses his braking and takes off both end plates. It's an unfortunate situation for the Williams driver. It's definitely costing him time. He's now back behind Havoc Connor in 14th, unfortunately for him. Pipke is running quite well, but it looks like a number of these drivers have not stopped. So the top 4 have not stopped. Giannis has not stopped either in 10th at this moment. Of course, he had a spin early on, so he was at the back of the grid. So he is looking to go deep into this race. Let's see what tyres the drivers are on. Mars Ranger, fastest lap with a 1:26. Stewart is now on a 3-second time penalty along with Havoc Connor. So Skipper has gone on to the soft tyres for some unknown, ungodly reason. Bogorovsky gets himself past Giannis, who is on 10-lap-old medium tyres, while Bogorovsky is on 5-lap-old hard tyres. Tom Putty gets himself past Pipke. His tyres will be doing a lot better than Pipke's right now. At this point, it is a question of whether the likes of Moncho or Pipke can stay out for a couple more laps to get as much of the medium tyres done with as they can, get as many laps under their belt on these mediums as they possibly can without bursting the tyre, and get on a set of hards to the end of the race. And it looks like both drivers are doing this, but Benny has now made his way through on the much fresher medium tyres. Of course, Benny is doing the 2-stop. Giannis now on a 3-second time penalty. I think that will be looked at by the stewards because he has come into the pit lane. There is a known bug where if you touch the white line on the inside of that corner, it gives you a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. So I believe if Giannis wants to get that 3 seconds removed, he will need to record it and get his race director for the end of the race for the stewards to view. Benny now passing Tom Putty on his fresh tyres. Of course, Tom Putty has been on the hards from the start of the race. Moncho is now definitely losing time to Grellis, who is on the harder compound. But we wouldn't really be looking to compare Moncho to Grellis, as Moncho is now coming into the pits on the end of lap 12 for him. Comes to a good stop, does not get a penalty. Good job. Now Benny is back into P2, but with a 17-second deficit. Stewart now with a 1:26.861 as the fastest lap. Following Barry Bogorovsky. Bogrovsky's not going to be best pleased about the Williams looming in his mirrors, as Pipke and D-Rush both come into the pits as well. Oh, Kavolis getting himself past Mars Ranger through the chicane under the DR, in between the DRS straights even. Kavolis is really showing that he can race. We know this already, but the fact is he's not always at the front, but he's pretty much consistent when it comes to racing. He has good morals and he knows how to race against other drivers. He knows when to pull out and make a move. But he now has 2 seconds to catch up to Benny ahead of him. Miyagi gets himself past Tom Putty. Tom Putty is now into the pits. So Miyagi is now on the hard tyres. Is he going to be going to the end of the race? It is possible, but he does not want to be fighting anyone if he is planning to take them all the way to the end. We already know that Kavolis and Benny will need to pit again. Grelis needs to pit. Stewart will need to pit again. Havoc Connor will need to pit again. I think Tom Putty may have come in early for his medium stint, which is not great for him. D-Rush will likely need to pit again. Skipper will definitely need to pit again. So we have Mars Ranger trying to keep up with Kavolis to try and gain P3 for when the medium runners decide to pit. You never know, he might end up being in first place, depending on when Grelis decides to pit, and how much time there is between the two of them. Because if Benny and Kavolis pit on the same lap, and Grelis pits to get onto his medium stint, that will promote Mars Ranger up to P1 if the timings are the same as they are now. The thing is, I think Mars Ranger might be able to nurse these hard tyres to the end for the win. But we will have to wait and see. Let us have a look. What is the closest action we have? It is Tom Putty and Pipke all the way back down in 13th and 14th. There are some considerable gaps forming around the track now. Mars Ranger and Miyagi have caught up to each other, and they are both on the back of Kavolis now, both with DRS. Is Mars Ranger going to go for the move up the inside of the loop? He gets inside done and dusted before the corner exit. That was a good move. That is one I like to do. Stewart can attest. In my debut, I did that to him, and I did it to another racer called Magic Poop Cannon. I did it a lap one after the other around that corner. It is a great, fun little move to pull off. Now Miyagi is looking to pass Kavolis. Has Kavolis already eaten through those medium tyres? Are they starting to die off already? Let us have a quick look at the penalties. So, Stewart is on 3 seconds. Giannis is on 3 seconds. Havoc Connor is on 6, which is not what he wants to see. Miyagi snaking around, trying to get his nose past this Williams in front of him of Kavolis. Completely blitzed, done and dusted before the braking zone. Easy move for the Racing Bull. Now he needs to chase down Mars Ranger. who is currently, it seems, losing time to Benny ahead. Although, I could be wrong on that. He could be gaining time. We will have a look at the beginning of next lap. Grelis is into the pits. Oh, Mast Ranger. Having real trouble coming out of those cambered corners. Almost Latifiing it on the other wall. But he definitely lost time to Benny with that slide and caused Miyagi to slam the brakes as well. So it would seem that Grelis is going for a 12-lap stint on medium tyres. He is now down in P6. He's just on the back of this little group ahead of him. Miyagi now up to provisional P2. And I say that, it's technically the net lead because Benny has to pit again. He went medium, he needs to change the tyre compound. So at this rate, Miyagi has played a blinder on his strategy if he can get these tyres to the end. Whereas Benny is looking for the speed to gain a gap. Or make up time, even, after his pit stop. As it looks like Benny is coming in now. He is. Benny is into the pits. Miyagi will inherit the lead of the race, with Mast Ranger being in second, Mirror in third, and Grelis in fourth. This is an amazing job from Grelis. He's showing that the one-stop can be done just as long as you keep an eye on your tyres. As long as your setup is correct and you keep an eye on your tyres and save them, you will be able to get to the end on a one-stop strategy. Meanwhile, Benny has now come out in 7th. He needs to make up positions if he wants to get P2 in the standings. He needs to get past the Alpine and he needs to get past the Kick Sauber ahead. We will have to wait and see if he will be able to do so. Grelis gets himself past the other Alpine of Mirror up into P3 onto the podium, getting as many points as he can for his team. At this rate, the constructors will be Red Bulls. As with the fresher tyres, Benny goes around the outside of Moncho. Grelis setting the fastest lap of 1:25.847. It seems we are getting close to the Marcus Ericsson fastest time. Is it Marcus Ericsson or was it Kevin Magnussen? I cannot remember. I do apologise if I got that wrong the first time. Nellboy comes into the pits. Haven't seen much of Nellboy this evening, but this is his first stop of the night. He is doing the one stop. Grelis now up into P2. He is not going to let Miyagi get away with a win here, is he? He has 10.5 laps to go, and he is going to push Miyagi all the way to the end of this race. Benny Buno has come into the pits. I believe that is for his second stop. Yep. So a lot of drivers here doing the two-stop strategy. So our biggest winner at the moment is Miyagi. And even if he loses the position to Grelis, he will still be our biggest winner with a rate of 14. He's coming into the pits. His hard tyres will not take him any further. Our biggest loser at the moment is unfortunately Stewart in the Williams, losing 8 positions from the start of this race. Oh, wrong one. We've got a lot of drivers coming into the pits now. All of them were hard runners, I believe. I say that, but Master Ranger is now out on a fresh set of hards. As is Cavolis, as is Mirror. Oh, no, Mirror is on the mediums. I do apologise. So this has changed things up a little bit. Grellis in P1, Benny in P2, Moncho in P3. Is he going to be able to make it to the end of the race? He's done 7 laps already. He can potentially push it. He can roughly make it. He has to be careful though. He has to be very gentle through the corners. Otherwise he will tear his tyres to shreds. Miyagi comes out ahead of Master Ranger as well. Both drivers are now on fresh tyres. Janice gets himself a 3-second time penalty for his tally. Let's have a look, see what is going on. Havoc Connor making a move on Giannis through the DRS section. Stewart gets himself another 3-second time penalty. The closest battle at the moment is Master Ranger on Miyagi, and the next one would be Pipke and Tom Putty. Is Master Ranger going to be close enough to make a move on Miyagi on this straight? The thing is, you don't want to make your move too early. If you can wait on this straight and just get right behind the driver and get the DRS for the next straight and make the move then, you are in a better position for the finish line. So we are on lap 21 of 29 around the Abu Dhabi circuit here in the United Arab Emirates. We currently have Grellis in the Red Bull out in front by 13.5 seconds. Absolutely destroying the field, showing them that the alternate strategy one stop seems to be working. M. Benny in the McLaren will be happy enough with this position. He needs to finish 5th or higher to secure 2nd place in the driver's standings. Moncho is being a bit of a rolling roadblock, helping out Benny right now, keeping Miyagi behind him, letting a gap start to form. Not by choice, I don't think. There we go. Miyagi has got the move done, opens the DRS and disappears. Master Ranger goes into the slipstream of Moncho. Gets the move done and dusted in the braking zone. D-Rush gets a 3 seconds and a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane. I think that 3 second will have to be looked at. Stewart gets himself past Tom Putty. The closest fight is still Master Ranger and Moncho. And of course Miyagi out in front of them. Although it seemed Tom Putty was closing in a little bit there. Let's see how everyone's tyres are for lifespan. So Giannis has the oldest tyres as it stands. Then it is Pipke and Tom Putty on the oldest tyres. A couple of these drivers may need to pit again, especially the drivers who pitted early for a set of hards will definitely need to come in again because they will not survive. D-Rush gets himself a 3-second time penalty again. I wonder if he ran too close to the wall and was technically off the circuit. Stewart is closing in on Pipke, gets the move done and dusted early on the straight. Havoc Connor gets himself another 3-second time penalty. That is what, 12 now, I believe? Let's have a look. He's getting all of his penalties out now. He's on 9 seconds of penalties. Andre gets himself past Tom Putty under the DRS. Nice easy move for the kick Sauber. Job done. Now it's time to move on and catch up to his teammate ahead. D-Rush gets himself past Giannis before the DRS zone. And doesn't have DRS. Neither of them have DRS. They crossed the DRS detection point at the same time. As Skipper has now been lapped by Grelis. There you go, you can see it there. So it took them 24 laps for Grelis to catch the back markers at Abu Dhabi, which I will say is pretty damn decent considering how quick Grelis can be. So well done to the back markers for giving him more of a challenge this week out. Mirror losing time but gaining it back through the corners. And Nellboy gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Seems he was not paying attention to the tiny little kink at the beginning of the DRS straight. And ran a little bit wide. Will Mirror be able to catch the back of Kavolis? Oh, and D-Rush is out. He is on the inside of turn 1. Evident spin and smack into the wall. That is unfortunate, and that has brought out the safety car. That is a full safety car. Benny straight into the pits. And Connor gets himself a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. So Benny is now on the softs for the final 4 laps. Miyagi has stayed out. I think Miyagi may have just shot himself in the foot if he was looking for P2 in the Drivers' Championship. I don't think it would have mattered anyway as long as Benny stays where he is. As long as he stays out of trouble, he will be fine. Havoc Connor does not go into the pits either. A couple of drivers preferring to have track position over fresh tyres, it would seem. So none of the drivers have yet caught the safety car, as Grelis is now the man to come around. He is going into the pits now. And of course that does release Skipper, although Skipper is now in the pits, but it releases Giannis and allows him to go past the safety car and not cause a problem for the other drivers. Oh yeah, there is. If there was no safety car, Grelis could have pit again, and it wouldn't have been a problem. He would have had the time. Well, at least under safety car he does. Ignore me, I'm insane. Oh, let's have a quick drink. So, with Grelis having already won the Drivers' Championship, it is just down to P2 and 3 to fight it out. There is a 17 gap between them. A gap of 17 points. Benny ahead by 17 points. Miyagi is going to be praying that the likes of Masked Ranger, Andre and Moncho cause Benny problems. But it looks like Andre is still on his hard tyres. Let's have a look at the tyre situation as it stands. So, Miyagi and Andre are still on their old hard tyres. Giannis is on his even older hard tyres. Skipper is on a fresh set of mediums. Everyone else is on fresh, soft tyres. So, basically the job will be for Masked Ranger, Moncho and Cavolis to get ahead of Andre as soon as possible and pass Benny if Miyagi is to get P2 in the championship. Other than that, if it stays as it is, Benny gets P2, Miyagi gets P3. And of course, the Heffalump that is in the Red Bull has already won the championship. So these points that he's gaining tonight is just him showing off and trying to gain the constructors. So I'm hoping the back markers will be able to catch up to the back of the safety car this lap. It's not likely, but if they were able to do so, they would give themselves the best chance of racing with the others. As Giannis gets himself a 3-second time penalty for track limits while under safety car. He's actually pushing to try and get back. Or no, he's in the pits. He's in the pits again. Why? The safety car is coming in this lap because we're on lap 27 of 29. So now Grelis is the pace car. He assumes the role, slows the pack down, lets the safety car disappear off into the distance. What did Giannis put on? He put on a set of soft tyres for the last 2 laps. Grelis is still holding back the pack, waiting for the safety car to go in. When is the Red Bull going to put his foot down? There we go. He caught him unawares. He caught... Jeez, that was potentially a little bit naughty, as he did slow down right before the corner, which he then booted the throttle through. But we'll see what's said after the race. As Havoc Connor has gone back into the pits. Did he get damage before the restart there? So Grelis is trying to give Benny the best shot of getting P2 at this point. Miyagi is doing everything he has, or everything he can in his own power to try and get P2 in the standings, but it doesn't look like it is going to happen. Cavolis sniffing the exhaust pipe of Moncho ahead of him there as they came into the braking zone. Less than a tenth between them. As we go on to lap 29, we have started the final lap. This is where drivers will be getting desperate and making their move. As Kavolis goes up the inside of Moncho through turns 1 and 2. Amazing move from the man on the soft tyres. Good job from Kavolis, getting as many points as he possibly can for the end of the season. Andre has dropped back due to his hard tyres being worn. Mira is now looking to pass his own teammate, but both of them have DRS. Kavolis gets himself past Andre. And now, look at the acceleration from the Williams compared to the Sauber. You have to remember we are on equal performance here. So the fact that it's a Sauber doesn't mean anything. But just the tyre grip that the Williams had to get out of that corner away from the Sauber was absolutely insane. And here comes your Season 14 Division 1 champion, Grelis, finishing his final race with another win. Miyagi gets P2, Benny P3, Kavolis P4, Moncho P5, Andre 6th, Mira 7th, Pipke 8th, Benny Bruno 9th, Barry Bogorovsky in 10th. There's a big crash at the back. Tom Putty 11th, Nellboy 12th, Masked Ranger and I think that was Skipper come across the line. Stewart in 14th. Havoc Connor in 15th. Giannis is the last man to cross the line. And yes, it is Skipper on the grid there. Giannis finally coming, trundling his way across the finish line. He's going in. There it is. There's the donuts. And come on. There we go. And that is a good way to end Division 1, Season 14. Thank you for the little bit of entertainment at the end there, Janice. But well done to Grelis, Benny and Miyagi for the podium. And that goes for the drivers' standings as well. Well done to Red Bull, I believe, have now finished up the constructors as well. So your winners are Grelis taking the Drivers' Championship and Red Bull getting the constructors. So yet again, Grelis has done the double. And yeah. Grelis even got the fastest lap and the cleanest driver. There you go, ladies and gents. So there we have it. Thank you all for joining us for Season 14 of Division 1. Let us get over to the end screen. So, thank you all for watching with me this season. Thank you for jumping in the chat when you have. Thank you for respecting the 1 minute silence from me to all the drivers today. Thank you all so much for taking part. Well done to Grelis, and well done to Grelis and Havoc Connor for clinching the Constructors title for Red Bull. Well done to Benny for getting P2 in the end in the drivers, and well done to Miyagi for getting P3. I have been D790. This has been DTR Season 14 Division 1. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.